Afternoon there, ladies and germs. We got ourselves a legitimate fun little project to do. I've been wanting to do this since I got this truck, even before it was running again. And what we're going to do is take off the old bent up stock bumper, and we're going to replace it with this here steel roll pan that is custom made by ModShop Metalwerks out of California. It's a very nice piece, seems to be very well built. One of the things that was actually pointed out to me about these by another YouTuber that makes the ModShop unit somewhat special is, I never knew this before, but apparently the back of Ford Rangers are not flat. They actually have a bow out to them, and this roll pan has that factored into its design, so it'll line up with the bottom of the tailgate real nicely. This is a weld-in unit, so that's something to keep in mind. If you're looking for something that just screws on or bolts on, you're probably going to want to do one of the, you'll probably want to try and find something that's more the urethane variety. I got to do a little paint work on this bed anyways. I want to get this dent worked out of here, and then I'll probably paint the roll pan and then paint across this body line right here. Get that spruced up a little bit, but the rest of this thing is by no means any form of a show truck, and I don't want it to be. I like all its dents and dings and scratches. So yeah, I think the next step is to get the bumper taken off, which is measly 4 bolts with the Metalwerks impact, and we'll be ready to start setting this thing in place. I'm probably going to just self-tapper it to the bed to get it started across that top flange there, and then we'll start working this in. Obviously I have to grind the paint off of this corner right here, probably 3/4 of an inch each side of this edge, and we will be welding it down that corner there on each side of the bed. That's what this really gives it its structure. I went with the center license plate pocket in this particular case. I think it fits the theme of the bed, or in this particular case I think it fits the theme of the truck best. I don't want it to look like overly mini trucky, if you will. I don't really consider this truck to be in that realm of car culture. Nothing against that. This definitely leans a little bit more towards hot roddy truck than mini truck, in my opinion anyways. So enough jibber jabber, as Taylor Ray likes to say. But you're gonna have to let this thing lay on me. Alright, another piece to chop up and throw in the scrap bin. That's probably, if I had to guess, 40, maybe 50 pounds, probably 40 pounds will be taken off the truck. I'm going to get some of this muck cleaned up, a little road grime, get all that wiped out of there, and we'll see how the old roll pan fits up in there. First update of many. It appears as though, since I went with the center mounted license plate insert, I got two I'm going to start by cutting half of this flange off right here for this spare tire cross member. I think that'll give me just enough room to let the roll pan fit up in here. Not a big deal. Didn't think about that, but we're just about ready. We're going to cut that off and then get this paint ground off of this edge right here. And hopefully we'll have her in place. Well, it's the next day out here in the garage. My battery died last night, and this thing also had a one of those hose clamp style tailgate locks around this guy that I had to cut off because I never had the key for it. But I figured it's a good time to pick back up and show you where we're at. I haven't really done a whole lot. I've probably got about an hour's worth of work into this project is all so far. I've got the paint ground off the bed corners here, and then I took my Scotch-Brite disc and just knocked the paint off where I'm going to plug weld this flange onto the back of the bed. You can see that I've got a couple coats of duplicolor self-etching primer on there. Hopefully that'll help this thing live for a while. I did mask off the spots where there's going to be weld, so you don't want to use that paint. You could use a weld through primer on this flange. I don't have any of that. After I get this welded on, and when we ultimately go to finish the paint finish, I'll be using actual two-part primers, paints, and clears. We'll probably paint from this body line down all the way around the back of the bed. I think I might have showed it earlier. I got a dent right here that has been partway pushed out that I want to fix. But beyond that, I don't really plan on beautifying this truck any more than that. It's supposed to be somewhat of a shop truck build, not a show truck. I'm rambling. We are ready to put the roll pan back up on the bed, and hopefully for good. I use self-tappers in the corners to kind of hold it in position. So let's do that real quick, and you can kind of get a better idea of what it's looking like so far. Alright, so the reason why these screws are only halfway engaging the roll pan is because I was off by quite a bit in the vertical orientation of the roll pan and how much gap you have to have for the tailgate to stay functional. So I didn't want to, but I had to move this thing down almost 3/8 of an inch. There's nothing you can do about it. That's what it takes. It takes almost 3/4 of an inch of a body gap across this roll pan and the tailgate for the tailgate to be able to swing past this ledge right here. I don't have a problem with that. It'll look fine once it's painted. One of the things that I don't care for is now this is what you get in the corner. I'm gonna leave it for now until I do the actual body work, and then I may end up finding a way to kind of fill that corner in. That's where we're at. I think we're ready to start plug welding this. I'm gonna plug weld this to the back of the bed first, and then I'm gonna start working on tacking this seam. I don't think you could ever warp this corner. There's too much structure in here, but you still want to take it easy on your welds in here because you could distort this piece of the roll pan, which you do want to stay as smooth and flat as possible. All right, update time. Had a little bit of a swearing fest there for a little bit. Check that out. Got the plug welds done. That was a bit of a pain in the ass because I didn't take enough paint off the back of the bed. So even though I'd ground the paint off, I needed to take a little bit more off. Welding doesn't like paint fumes. So a little bit of popping and banging, but I got it to where I was satisfied with the plug weld job. Then it took quite a bit to get the Rollpan tacked to the bed corner. That side, when I was still trying to figure out welder settings, I blew a hole in the corner, the bed corner. That was a little frustrating. When you're tacking this thing into position, make really good effort to get this absolutely as smooth as possible. You have to manipulate the panel on your way down. If you ever put a tack in place and you feel that this thing is not level, don't leave it. Get your 90 motor with a cutoff disc and cut the tack and redo it. You'll appreciate it later. Here's where I burned a hole in the... I just started here and ended up with a hole burned all the way out here. What a pain. But super happy with it. I think it's going to be all right. And even just with what I've tacked already, you could probably pick the truck up with it. But I'm not going to bore y'all to death with setting a camera behind me, filling all these welds in. I'm just going to, do 3 or 4 aside, spaced apart, bounce back and forth until this is filled in. And then we'll grind it up. Get the welds ground down so that it's nice and smooth, and I'll come back, one more update, show you what that looks like, and then we'll get a look at it with the tailgate on, with the garage door open, so we can get back away from it. I spent a fair amount of time getting this leveled to the truck and leveled to the body line with the tailgate, so I had made some reference marks with a Sharpie marker on both sides to maintain this level. It would look absolutely terrible if this was crooked or you had a wedge shaped body line in the tailgate. But stay tuned for more. We'll be back in an hour or so. Okay, we are fully welded. Might be a few pinholes here and there that we need to touch up, but we're getting ready to fire off the grinder. Get these welds ground down. When you're grinding these welds off of bodywork like this, it's same as welding. You don't want to grind real heavy in one spot for any length of time because it makes a lot of heat. So you got to bounce around with your grinder just as well, or even your sanding discs. So I'll use a flap disc on an angle grinder to get the big chunks off, and then I'd like to do the finish work with one of these guys right here. That's where we're at. We're almost ready for the grand unveiling. Second to last update while we're still cramped in the old tiny garage. I got the welds ground down. Finished at 120 grit. Finished at 120 grit disc on this. And it's not 100% perfect, but it's not bad either. When I go to paint it, I'll grind some more paint off around the way, and we'll just do a nice skim coat of filler on there. Should be money. It's the driver's side. So what I ended up doing for now to keep this thing from rusting, because it's not going to get painted anytime soon, was I took a can of Rust-Oleum clear, rattle can clear, and I literally just soaked this thing in clear to keep it from rusting. Like I said, it'll probably be another month or two before I can actually get this paint work done. So yeah, we'll leave her kind of rat roddy with a little bit of clear on there. I forgot to mention earlier that they send a nice simple license plate light. that fits in this rectangular opening right here. So you don't even have to worry about polarity. It's just a light bulb. We'll go wire to wire and then self-tapper this guy into that hole. For some reason they sent me 2 of them. I don't know if it was just a mistake or what, but at least I got a spare. And we'll get the license plate screwed on and put the tailgate back on. We'll roll it outside, and that'll probably be the final update so you can see it outside in all its glory. Well, it's another day, but I wanted to show you guys the completed project in the daylight. It got dark the other day when I had it buttoned up, and now we've got some lovely liquid sunshine. You can see, I think I mentioned in the last segment that I just temporarily sprayed some clear coat on the Rollpan so that it doesn't get all rusty until I get some time to finish it out properly and get a base clear, primer base clear put on there. But get some close-ups there. This is going to finish out really nice. Got the license plate done. It was a little bit of a trick getting some inserts put in for this because this pocket for the license plate is almost directly up against the spare tire cross member. I was able to put in a pair of steel rivnuts that worked out perfectly. I just smashed them into the slots that were pre-cut into the roll pan. There's this side. But overall, could not be more happy with the way that it turned out. I wasn't sure if I was going to like this very much, but I think in the grand scheme of things, once it's painted, it's not going to be an issue. So hopefully this helps somebody figure out if they want to try one of these on their Ranger or not. They make these roll pans for, I don't know, like a half a dozen different trucks, so they all pretty much go on the same way. So like I said, hopefully this helps somebody. And if you got any tips or tricks and ways that I could have done this better, I'm not a body guy, so I won't be offended if you guys give me some ideas. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see y'all on the next one.